I don't tend to use battle maps in my D&D games. I just don't find them useful. I'd rather use dry erase or imagination because I'll use miniatures. I love using them, painting them, giving them personality. But battle maps, you never know when, where, or why a fight will break out. So I'd rather just have them used to that because going from, a propped out tiered event to a dry erase board to me is immersion breaking. But tomorrow I'm running a game. You can check the 48-hour live stream VOD for the Toasty Roast channel. Around the halfway mark, around 6 o'clock on Saturday is when it would happen. But we'll be on the podcast set. You can just scroll the timeline if you want to see it. We're going to be playing a game, and they don't play D&D very often, so I made it extremely rudimentary. I'm not trying to make it difficult for anybody. We're just really doing it to have some fun and play some D&D. When it comes down to it, nobody's going to care. Somebody will, but it won't really matter if they care that somebody casts fire bolts and I change the hit dice on it. I've run enough games that the purpose of the game is to have fun, and I'm just going to homebrew a lot of it to make it as easy as possible so that everyone can play and not have questions. We can focus on playing the game because we only have 3 hours, and I don't need it to be a teaching session when we're trying to entertain people. So that being said, I needed a battle map, and I wanted to have one because I thought we've done Theater of the Mind before, but I won't be on screen for this one, so I thought it'd be a little bit more enjoyable if the people could see where and what they're interacting with, because I want to try to go for a more narrow goal of like they're at a Hogwarts kind of place after like during summer school, and they may be janitors, they may be students. I don't know yet, but I started laying down some ideas and vibes, and I want to talk about my experience building a battle map for one of the first times I've done an actual battle map. I've done regional and city maps and world maps. I love those a lot. So I have some map making experience, just not battle maps. That zooming in too far gets me bored. I don't really like it, but thought it would work well for doing a stream so I could put it into Foundry and show people what's happening so they don't just have to rely if they hop in the middle of the game figuring out what's going on. That being said, I have some recommendations from somebody who did it for the first time, some things I'd improve, and some cool little tips and tricks. If you've never used Incarnate, that's the tool I'm using. I didn't pay for anything, I don't believe. I think this is the free software version of it. I've paid for it in the past, and I don't necessarily need it for this version. I know if I were to make tons and tons and tons of things on here, I would probably get tired of the same tools, pictures, and icons, and would probably want to upgrade. But in this case, it's a single one that I wanted to use, and I found some pretty cool things about it. My first recommendation is if you've never made a battle map before, or a map before, outline, baby. If you're making a city, you outline districts. So you know kind of what buildings, what color, what zones, what floor you're going to need. Then just paint a base coat onto the ground. I like to then take any other shades, like do grass or do green, then take the texture that you want, like the grass or whatever it would be, swampland, and turn the opacity down and start drawing it down. That way you get some kind of layering to it and it looks nicer. We're going to come back and add some shading to it later that's going to make it look nice, but you just need something that you're okay with. We're not looking for happy with yet. Happy will come later. Unless you're already good at this, you need to start touching the canvas. Don't beat around the bush and make it too difficult to begin, or you'll never learn. So you have to just be okay with what you've done. Once you have an okay background, you're like, I don't know, I think someone better than me can make this look better. That's the perfect place to move to the next step. So go ahead, and from there, I like to path out where things are going to go. So once I've gotten the base plate down, I'm going to go ahead and draw some lines for where things should be, I think they're going to be in my head. If you're doing a dungeon, so you start thinking, okay, where's the boss fight maybe going to be? I want it to be tight corridors, but I think this is where the boss lives. Look at this confusing maze I've made. This is the room where people get tortured. This is the room where people hide their treasure. This is where they sleep. This is where they use the bathroom. This is where the owlbear lives. Just whatever you want. Draw some lines and get some ideas for what you like and where you like it. Once you feel okay with that, they don't even need to be good straight lines. Just drop them down, get them in there. Once you've decided that, go ahead and start dropping some walls. You'll notice that I'll drop some walls down that I'll end up deleting. Don't be afraid of doing things that's going to be wasteful of your time when you learn that, oh, wait, these buildings are connected. I didn't think about that. They would have interior walls. So you're going to watch me drop walls around certain boxes and find out didn't need those. I found that copying, pasting the long lines made it easier than trying to, place each one individually, get like 5 down, and then you have like a good ruler to be dropping down in place. Then it seemed to be a good idea to like for the ends to drop a piece down and slide it over till the black parts meet on the edges of the walls. So it creates a more finished looking product. I'm sure there's a corner piece or something else, and no one's going to worry about that when we're playing, so I wasn't going to worry about it either. Make sure the walls are thick enough. You don't want to be too thin. Otherwise, when you place down your like walls in any tabletop software, if you're going to use them for a tabletop software, you want your walls you place down to fit somewhere so they're not just floating there and making your wall invisible because they cover it. They need to go down the middle of it. So once that's set up, you're good to go on the walls. You can go ahead and like paint the floor now. Decide what floor color you like. Remember that some rooms are gonna have different floors. I wish there were more rug options in here because that's one of the easiest ways to like make things look neater. You can actually right click the rugs and say flatten. And I realized this is a great way to make the ground more interesting because it actually puts the grid over top of it, which sells so much better that there's some stuff there because it separates like dimensions. You can tell everything that's on the floor, like the rugs, you can walk over, but the tables are lifted off the floor. It's a simple trick, but the eyes get it really quickly once they see it. As for the interior walls, placing down the same way, you see I'm pretty much just most of this. It's really a lot of work placing down the paths. And then once you have that done, you kind of decide what you like and what rooms. What are they for? Why would they be here? And so I went to the dormitory and I was just thinking, okay, well, here's these things. I went to the classrooms. I said, well, I need desks in there. And when I'm going through, no matter what room I'm in, I let the ADHD flow. I let the dopamine come to me. If there's anything that I think is cool, I stop working the room I'm on. I go to another room and I drop it. This took me about an hour and a half to finish the whole thing. And I was pretty happy with what I ended up with at the end that you'll see. It's pretty neat. And I feel like the kitchen was the most fun place to work on because that's where I learned don't like undervalue placing down a table and then finding objects to place on the table. You could tackle this maybe room by room if you want to do it in a more simple, easy way and not worry about jumping from one to another. But I found that jumping room to room, or if I found an item later that was like, of course there'd be a well, I'll drop some wells down. There'd be one outside the girl's side, the guy's side. I think nothing flows better than when you see an item you want to place down, thinking, where would they realistically use this? Would they put down a well in the middle of the main room? No. So if they do, why? There, boom, you have a story bit. I put a bed outside the kitchen because I just thought, well, whoever's in there is lazy. They want to go like eat and sleep. And so they hid a bed out by the back of the oven because they just couldn't catch some Z's there. And I thought that was a fun little addition. Another thing is find those like grimy and weird textures that you think are interesting. Turn the opacity down really low and draw them. So I did like the debris in the kitchen to make it look like there's crumbs on the floor. You can do that anywhere. Fun fact that's always really simple is wherever you want there to be like an interesting, like you're like, it looks too flat, it doesn't look good. You can always add shadows. Shadows, if I ask you what color shadows are, you'd say black. You'd be like, oh, well, easy. But I don't know how to add shadows to something. Well, it's the color black, but you just dial down the opacity so that when you're drawing the brush, it's not turning it to flat black 100%. If it's at like 20%, you get the soft shadow. So just surround your trees with it, surround your other things with it. Get creative with it, have fun, make it look nice and dark. In some areas, it adds texture to the floors. No matter how you look at it, a floor may be solid white, but there's going to be dips in and out of color from where the light's hitting it at any time. So enjoy yourself and do that. So I was filling out the dorms, having a good time, just dropping beds. Beds have foot lockers. If you've played D&D for a while, you start to just have this natural sense of what you're going to put in the room already. Like if I'm going to have any sort of barracks or dormitory, I'm putting foot lockers at the bottom of every bed. I just think that feels natural to me. You play enough like Old Oblivion in those kind of games, you always find their chests are somewhere near their bed for the small amount of things they own. They want to store. And especially at a school, they're not going to have lockers. It feels more in theme to have these little foot lockers. They're going to have the library, and the library was pretty simple. I was just like, oh, little alcoves. They turned this into that. I wanted to have a grand arch. I just settled for this little triple archway because I thought, well, that's just simpler and easier. By the way, my talking, you probably have noticed, is not in line with the video that I've shot. That's the time lapse that I've done. I'm not watching it as I go. I just think it's interesting to talk about this stuff, and maybe the process between hearing and seeing will be of use to somebody. But the only spot that I felt like I really could have improved on that I wanted to do more was the kind of field where I think that if they ever have any like magic duels or any demonstrations they do them out at, like if there was a training dummy one, I probably should have dropped that in there to give the impression. But I found this dead tree and I was like, well, Hogwarts, dead tree, why not? I'll just drop it here because it also adds for a good spot between that and the fountain to just drop a landmark and say if someone needs to meet you, you kind of get the vibe of what these rooms are. There's the classroom, there's the library, there's the field next to the dead tree. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you behind the kitchen. I like that idea that you can easily look at it because you'll see the whole map. And if you're using Foundry, there'll be Shadow of War. They won't see it all. You can start to get some ideas of like different areas they might be looking at or seeing. And I think that's pretty cool. And it's a lot of fun to faff about with. And so I'm just going to populate these rooms in my Foundry with just random little monsters, occasional little NPCs, and I'm not going to bother writing down what the rooms are like because I designed them all and you'll have designed yours. Unless it's going to be a large break or you have something very specific you're going for, you can go through and mark down as much as you want about the rooms. Talk about what paintings are on the wall. That's severely lacking in a lot of these things. It's hard to show you what's there. Some rooms look very empty, but I think would have been adorned with some ornamentation on the wall. But that alone, just a nice wooden wall to me looks nice. It's not an accent wall. It's the whole log cabin. I think that's neat. And so when it comes down, each building will have kind of a general description. Like the library will be a little bit more stone oriented. I'll probably describe that the wood is more aged in cedar and smells, while the inside it's like this rich vanilla and cedar. Like the dorms smell like food that's been bathed in the walls, and the smell of like leftover gunpowder and sulfur from spells cast gone wrong. It's simple to make it come alive with your description. So do that. If you need to go through and do anything special, the doors, you just kind of sticker them on where you are. I didn't even bother deleting what's underneath of them. It functions. They'll see a door and they'll know what it is. I'm not going to try to make it too confusing. I think it's just sometimes easiest to let it be easy. Don't get too lost in the sauce. The completed one, when you've gotten it to that point where I say it's okay, 20 okay things together are often greater than the sum of their parts. I find that this map, if you pick apart any room, they're kind of mid. If you look at the whole map, it's all right. It's good. It's enough for what I'm trying to do. And I think for a first battle map, I can forgive myself. It's fine. I got to be bad at it long before I can be good at it. I also still have to take it over to another software to go ahead and get it all set up. So if you have any questions about battle map making, you want to toss them down below, go for it. I think just if you see a sticker or a stamp you want to drop down, this is Youth Incarnate, drop it down, man, and find an excuse for it. Have some fun doing whatever you want. Don't worry too much. I think unless you have a super special setting, if you're just trying to make a battle map, do what you want. It's got to be enjoyable or you shouldn't do it. At that point, just run it however you've been running it. But if you want to do a battle map, put down some things that make you happy, do some of that stuff, and just keep doing a bunch of okay things. And then at the end, I like to do that little shadow bit where I lowered down the opacity on just the color black and I painted it around to help add that texture. And that for me was what really sold it. I thought it was great. I was happy with my little field area, my classrooms, and I felt every room had a little bit of spice or enough that I'm going to put NPCs in them, and they may never look. They may never notice the stamps on the wall, the letter on that. I put some items in certain spots just because I was like, well, I'm running a one shot. I'll just tie these in if they find them. You know, if they're not doing anything interesting, I'll be like, oh, what about that abandoned room in the boys' dorm? Did you do that? Oh my God, I didn't even think about secret doors. Idiot. I should have done secret doors. I should have put that room with the skeletons in it. I should have removed the door, and then I should have made it a secret door with a check, and it's like an old necromancy supply storage closet. That would have been smart. Well, you live and you learn. So any questions, like I said, down below, and otherwise, thank you all for watching. Peace.